Hey everyone, welcome back to Engadget's live CES 2021 coverage. I'm Senior Editor Devendra Hardwar, and tonight for this session, we will be talking about the future of gaming laptops with Jeff Kampman from ASUS ROG. How are you doing, Jeff? Thank you for joining.
Hey, Devendra, thank you for having me. I'm doing really well today. I'm really pumped.
Yeah,
It's so exciting.
I mean, it's a big day for you guys, right? Because you just announced several new laptops running on the new NVIDIA hardware too. Everyone's excited about what a lot of this means for upcoming gaming laptops. There's also the new AMD chips. What are you excited about that's coming from ASUS ROG?
Well, I have to say everything, but the particular, the combination of the new AMD chips and the new NVIDIA GPUs has those basic building blocks have allowed us to do so much. So we've taken that basic architecture and we've reconsidered the form factor of the gaming laptop in a couple different ways. And the system I think everybody's the most excited about is the ROG Flow X13, which is our first 2-in-1 convertible gaming laptop. And that system by default has the AMD Ryzen, a new Ryzen CPU unit, a GTX 1650, within the body of the laptop. But it also includes you can get it with rather the XG Mobile GPU, which is a proprietary eGPU with up to an NVIDIA RTX 3080 that communicates over a PCI Express by 8 link for much more bandwidth than Thunderbolt 3.
Let me just say, this thing looks wild too. So the X13 is a 13-inch ultra portable. It's very light. I believe you guys are saying it's 2.8 pounds. It's also a convertible, so you can move the screen all the way around, like a lot of the other laptops these days, like Lenovo's Yoga line in particular. And that's a really interesting thing you guys are doing by both giving it, GTX 1650, not too bad. You could play some basic games with that, especially for gaming on the go. But the option of an eGPU with this one is kind of it's unique too, because it's a proprietary connector. It's PCI 3 basically. You guys are just getting the full speeds there. Can you talk about what went into ASUS's thinking as it was developing this, right? Because I feel like I've seen slim 13-inch gaming notebooks from other companies like Razer. I've never quite been super satisfied with them. They are always about compromises. Is that why you guys thought like you got to have an eGPU option?
So it's interesting you bring up compromises, because one of the ways we approach things at ROG is we don't want to compromise for gamers. And like all the eGPUs as a concept are really neat. I love the idea of being able to take a slim gaming laptop and then just plug it into a powerful graphics chip when I need it. But again, Thunderbolt 3 it's fine for a lot of things, but it limits GPU performance. And also, when you look at most eGPU boxes, they're rather large and bulky. It's not something you can easily take with you. And so this, we've done two things here to kind of avoid those compromises. The eGPU itself is much more compact than the average box. It's about the size of a really large paperback book. And to make that happen, it's like we use a custom vapor chamber cooling system in there. And then again, that proprietary interface enables higher performance. So we've taken that idea of, take a slim laptop with you and paired it with that no compromises ideal. And that I think comes together in a really compelling package.
Yeah. It's it also seems like a smart follow-up for you guys from the Zephyrus G14 last year, which that was one of my favorite gaming laptops. It was something I just kept going back to throughout the year because it was super light. It was 3.5 pounds. It was still pretty portable. It had enough power. It had RTX 2060, and it was one of the first with the AMD Ryzen 4000 GPUs, and it kind of just set the stage for what we would expect from the rest of 2020. So going into 2021, it seems like you guys are trying to one up yourselves here. Can you tell me anything else about the X13?
Again, you're saying it's, the G14, we really loved that notebook. It set a new standard for portable gaming laptops, and the X13 is just that much more portable, because you have to remember that this is almost like you said, it's almost like a thin and light notebook, but this still has the full Ryzen HS processor in it. It's the 35 watt, 8 core, 16 thread CPU. So, it's all that same processing power in an even more compact body. So yeah, it's right. So again, the power in here, at least for, CPU intensive tasks, is just incredible.
Yeah. And also, just yesterday, Intel announced their new H series chips too, but also not the like fully powerful, not the 8-core ones. They were announcing these 4-core chips for ultra portable gaming laptops too. It does kind of seem like that is what AMD was already delivering last year. Are you guys looking at these the newer H series chips, the quad cores, in terms of putting them in any new machines, or are you more satisfied with what AMD is doing? Yeah. Stay
tuned.
Okay.
Like obviously, I can't comment on future products, but we'll have, we have more to announce at CES 2021, and stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I mean, listen, we all know ASUS has another event tomorrow where we're going to see a lot more new laptops as well, and those are going to be the consumer line, so the ZenBooks and stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. You guys also announced a new, I guess, a special edition of the Zephyrus Duo 15, the huge gaming laptop with dual screens, and now it's powered by AMD chips as well. How much of an upgrade is this over the one last year? Because we really liked the last Zephyrus Duo.
So I think with the new Ryzen 5000 series CPUs, you're going to see a significant performance uplift. Simply because the performance per core is higher. There's other stuff happening with this too, though. We have a new 4K 120 hertz display option. So we're taking up until this point, creator laptops. Or laptops with 4K displays, rather, you have a 4K display at 60 hertz. And to get that high refresh rate gaming performance that a lot of demanding people want, you had to drop down to 1080p. And now we have this option that encompasses full Adobe RGB. We have 4K, we have 120 hertz, we have variable refresh rates, all in one screen. And so that's a huge upgrade there. And obviously the new NVIDIA 30 series graphics as well. So I think it'll be a pretty substantial that.
When it comes to the Zephyrus Duo as well, we haven't talked much about the screen pad, and I do think that is, that's the unique thing you guys have been doing with both the ZenBook Duo and the Zephyrus Duo. Is anything changing with the ScreenPad Plus? Can you do anything different with it? I think you guys have talked about some software upgrades. How is it going to function differently than last year's Zephyrus Duo?
So we'll have more detail on this soon. There is, however, I think in terms of the hardware, what we're doing this year with the Zephyrus Duo SE is we're making this more accessible, because there's a 1920 by 1080 display option for this notebook now as well. And, we're also taking the ScreenPad Plus down a little bit to make it more attainable. So that'll be available to more users. And like you said, I think ASUS is really driving this innovation in the dual display laptop space. There's really nothing else quite like this out there. So getting this in more hands is super valuable, I think, because everybody who uses this immediately sees the utility in it. I think a lot of creators, a lot of streamers who love that multi-display setup on their desks just immediately take this like ducks to water. So I'm excited to see it in more users' hands.
Gotcha. Great. And you were just talking about the new 4K 120 hertz panels. Those sound exciting, but honestly, as a gamer and like a very practical gamer, I am not quite a believer in 4K on mobile. It just seems like you're generating so much power to produce these pixels that you will never actually see. I think a better compromise this year is we're seeing a lot more quad HD 1440p displays. Are you guys looking? Are you implementing those in the rest of your lineup too?
Yeah, our display lineup this year is, I think, better than ever. The 17-inch, the Scar 17, our top esports gaming laptop, is getting a 360 hertz 1920 by 1080 display with adaptive sync. We are also bringing those quad HD 165 hertz panels to more laptops this year as well.
Very nice.
So
Very nice.
Yeah, that balanced. I agree that balanced resolution is really nice because it still lets you take advantage of all your hardware's performance, especially with adaptive sync, without going over the top.
Without going.
And we started.
Also,
we started last year. I was just going to say we started with Quad HD last year with the Zephyrus G14 with that high res 60 hertz option with adaptive sync. And again, we're just taking it up a notch this year. The 14-inch panel and the G14 is getting up to 120 hertz with Quad HD, and our larger gaming notebooks are getting the 165 hertz option.
You're saying that so that for this year the G14 is going to get 120 hertz Quad HD. That sounds pretty cool. And just for everybody watching and listening here, what are we talking about? So 1080p screens it's just full HD. It is the first one of the first HD standards we got when HDTV started rolling out. And what's been happening on gaming laptops and gaming monitors is that they've been sticking with that resolution, but upping the refresh rate so that you can actually see higher frame rates on those screens. And now, you're all the way up to 360 hertz. So that's astounding. Will lead to a lot of smooth gameplay. I don't know. I do think there is kind of a tipping point when your eyes actually start to determine the difference. Like maybe hardcore esports gamers really will see something different between 240 hertz and 360 hertz. For me, like 120 is like, okay, I'm good here. Like, and if I can get enough performance to get to 120, I'm good. So if you're talking about Quad HD screens, which have a higher resolution than 1080p, not quite as high as 4K, but Quad HD at 165 hertz, like that sounds like a sweet spot for a lot of gamers, honestly. Yeah. And more options are great. You can get whatever you prefer. So, is there, I know ROG's lineup is always, you guys have a huge array of models. You have, thicker, heavier computer laptops for people who who don't need portability because you can stuff more power into there. Is there anything more, you guys think you can do this year thanks to the RTX 30 series or the new Ryzen 5000 series? What are these laptops, achieving now that we couldn't last year?
I think just in general, again, like Moore's law may be slowing down, but there's still always improvements in performance per watt. And in a highly constrained system like a laptop where every watt matters, like if you can save a watt somewhere, you can put it somewhere else, or you can make the system run cooler and quieter. And I think just having these great building blocks to work with from our partners, you're just going to enjoy better performance and better battery life. And, just across the board, that rising tide is going to lift the entire performance of these systems. So
gotcha. And I'm sure you guys are experimenting with a lot of different, form factors or new things. Like I didn't see the X13 coming at all. Like that just seemed like a wild thing for you. I'm sure you can't talk about future products, but ideally, given you've been in this industry for a while, I assume you've seen the landscape change, and we're getting more power available to us, more efficient chips. What do you think gaming laptops need to do, over the next 5 years to really stay relevant and to evolve from what they currently are?
So the way things are progressing, the way things are evolving, like you said, ROG experiments all the time with these innovative form factors. Like the ROG mothership from a couple of years ago was, we just turned that traditional laptop concept on its head and created this freestanding system that could draw air through its back panel instead of having to try and breathe through that couple millimeters underneath a notebook, for example. We have the X13 now, which is a 2-in-1 gaming laptop. With touch and pen support. So that's a lot closer to the everyday notebook. And the Zephyrus Duo 15 brings dual screen productivity to the gaming laptop form factor without appreciably increasing the size and weight. So we're increasingly progressing towards a point where I think the distinction between a gaming laptop and a regular laptop is, that line is going to continue to blur because you have these systems that there are no compromise. They are not just for gaming; they're great for content creation as well. The X13 is, a highly ultra portable system, and it's just a portable laptop. You don't have to think about the fact that it's gaming ready.
Right.
You can, and when you want to take that gaming power with you, you can just throw the eGPU in the bag. So yeah, I think that line is just going to continue to blur, and we're going to continue exploring all these new form factors that enable these new experiences.
Gotcha. And yeah, just judging from what we're seeing from other manufacturers too, I do think that is the case. Like we're just seeing more and more ultra portables that can do a lot more. And I think, hey, we've reviewed plenty of systems with Intel's Xe graphics. Even Intel is really kicking things up a notch on the graphics front. You know, I'm really wondering, like at ASUS, how do you guys think of your ZenBooks now versus the ROG machines? Because it does seem like I look at something like the ZenBook Pro 15, which has a decent GPU in there too, or the ZenBook Pro Duo has a decent GPU. Why is that a productivity laptop and not a gaming laptop, right?
Right. Well, there's, you know, like we were saying, you know, the lines are blurring a little bit. There's always going to be, I think, a demand for this kind of creator notebook, like especially with NVIDIA Studio drivers, or you know, maybe a OLED panel, especially. I think that's going to be something you're going to be seeing as a deciding factor in our systems. The ZenBook Pro Duo you mentioned, that already uses an OLED screen at 60 hertz. And you know, that's just spectacular for HDR reproduction, which is, you know, something we'll freely admit, it's not something that's really easy to do in a gaming laptop screen yet.
Yep.
So for people in the creative side who are still trying to push the limits there, you know, we're always going to try and serve those different audiences as best we can. And so we're, you know, right.
You had mentioned HDR too, which I think is more and more on the console front has become, you know, kind of a nice benefit to have. The Xbox Series X has automatic HDR using, you know, Microsoft's machine learning tech. And I think that's done a lot to really even make older games feel better and more playable. What is holding HDR back on the laptop front? Is it just the sheer amount of power it takes to, you know, make a screen brighter?
So yeah, I think that is a significant part of the challenge, because last year at CES, one of the neater demos that we were able to do was a mini LED panel for a laptop. So instead of having that global backlight, which, you know, as a component you can kind of control the power consumption of more easily, you know, you have these huge arrays of LEDs. And it looks amazing, don't get me wrong, but you know, the more components you add, each of those has to draw power. The power management becomes more complicated. And it's something we're continuing to explore and reckon with. But yeah, power is a huge concern, obviously, with notebooks, and we don't want to compromise anything else about the experience.
For sure. I get that. And it does seem like mini LED tech is the new display tech a lot of people are really talking about now. We're seeing more TV manufacturers bring it in. It basically gives you much smaller backlights for LCDs than traditional LED backlights. Given the power issue, like, will we be seeing more of these in ASUS laptops in the future? Because battery life is a big concern, but I also want that nice bright performance sometimes when I choose to have it.
Like I said, it's a continuing balancing act. It's something we're exploring. Like we had the prototype last year, and when we crack it, we'll have more to share.
And we're talking about all this and the concern of battery life too. I was really impressed with the G14 last year and just how efficient it was battery wise. It gave me more battery life than some productivity laptops I've been testing recently too. Is that just really down to what AMD was able to accomplish with the Ryzen chips last year? Are we expecting similar decent battery performance this year with 5000?
I think it played a large role in that. The G14 also has a large battery for its size. But I think AMD, if you follow AMD closely, they are, they're laser focused on power consumption and efficiency. I think that they have an initiative called, I forget what it's called exactly, but there is a continuing focus there to reduce power consumption, increase efficiency, and I think that'll pay dividends. over time. You know, we were already, you've already seen it with the Ryzen 4000, and you know, I think we'll see great things from battery life in our laptops for 2021 as well.
It is nice to see the industry kind of changing so much too. Do you feel like we're better served now that AMD is taking a bigger stance in laptops? Because 2 or 3 years ago, that wasn't the case, and it was kind of all Intel all the time. Is this competition actually leading to better computers on the gaming front?
Yeah, I think so. And again, as a PC enthusiast, more options are always a good thing. You know, it's one of the great things about the platform. That openness and flexibility is that you can get what you need at the price you want, and just having more options is, you know, it's always a good thing. So, and you know, and you know, again, you know, they drive each other forward, and we all reap the benefits.
Gotcha. I'm thinking about what else I'd like to see in my ideal perfect ultra portable, which will probably look a lot like the G14, but maybe with a webcam. And I know we've seen mechanical keyboards on some heavier, thicker gaming laptops, like the really serious ones. But what is keyboard tech is something that I think really matters, especially if your keyboard's your main gaming interface. How is ASUS and ROG thinking about that? Will we ever see like a mechanical equivalent in a thinner, lighter notebook?
So it's funny you mentioned that, because I think on the ROG Strix Scar 17 and 15 that are coming out this year, we're actually introducing a new optical mechanical keyboard. And we talk about the thickness of mechanical key switches. And actually, one of the neat things about the optical keyboard is that I think it's thinner overall, while still, and it lets us maintain that same good key feel that you expect from that mechanical keyboard. So that is an area of innovation for us as well. And, so that experience, just keep an eye open for it.
I would love to test those at some point, so I'm probably going to check out and see what's available for review. Just thinking, we're coming off of a fall where the new gaming consoles kind of were the things everybody was talking about, right? And it started to make clear, like, hey, for a while, that PC gaming has led the way, has been forward, and then all of a sudden, Microsoft and Sony are coming in with newer, faster SSDs, right? Than were available to most PC gamers. Kind of the equivalent of stuff we would be seeing with PCI 4.0. Have the new consoles at all changed the way ASUS is thinking about what it's actually delivering? Like the fast load times on the PS5 is something I still cannot achieve on a gaming PC. No matter how fast of an SSD I put in there. Is it revealing some deficiencies or some upgrades that the PC industry needs to make too?
I mean, I think, every time a bar is raised, you're going to see people rise to meet it. So, if the consoles have improved that architecture, then, again, that's a new bar, that's a new shift in the industry. And I think, SSD manufacturers will have to be aware of that. System architects will have to be aware of that. And, it's not something like that we may see change in the immediate term, but again, I think we are relentlessly in pursuit of more performance. And again, every time the bar is raised, that's just a new frontier to conquer. So.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I do like the back and forth between console gaming and PC gaming, because these consoles now are just basically super fast gaming PCs, but fast gaming PCs that cost $500, which is kind of a wild thing. I want actual PC, gaming equivalent towers to come down to that price. So looking forward to seeing that. Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for telling us about what ASUS is working on and talk about the future of the industry. Where can we find you on the internet these days if people want to see more of your thoughts?
So I would encourage everybody to check out the content at rog.asus.com, which is where we publish all of our articles about internal projects like these. You learn more about our products there, including all of the details of our new gaming laptop lineup. And I'm on Twitter at jcampman if you want to chat with me there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just saw your tweet. So yeah, I will follow you back. And you guys can find me at Devindra on Twitter. Stay tuned to Engadget.com for more live coverage of CES 2021. Next up, we're going to have a discussion about Sonos and the future of music streaming. Thanks for joining us, folks.